This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yeah, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right. And you tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous Pod, where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. Brother man. Um, this is a wild episode, first and foremost. Very controversial topic that we covering today. As it has been since it happened, amongst the media, amongst fans, conspiracy theorists alike. This is the documentary Selena and Yolanda. The secrets between them, covering the death of Selena Quintanilla. I think that's how you say her last name. But I think I did get that right. All right, cool. So before we actually get into that though, you already know, second episode of the week, we gotta do what we do best, man. We gotta give the people a little bit of something, you know what I'm saying, to look forward to in our segment, What We Watching. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
What we watching?
What we watching?
All right, man. So what you got?
All right, man. So I got this movie. It is currently on the Paramount Plus with Showtime. I watched it on Hulu, and it's this movie called Fear the Night. You know what I'm saying? Starring Maggie Q. You know what I'm saying? She did a good job, but this movie is basically just, you know what I'm saying, 8 women going on a bachelor party type joint, and then it turns out to where these people tried to do this robbery. Because the place that they went to was connected to a place where somebody grew weed and all type of shit like that. Mm-hmm. And so then they went in the house and tried to kill all the girls. And yeah, I will say this. I know we ain't going into the movies no more. But it was trash. Super trash. It was a waste of an hour and 32 minutes. The only reason I even watched this movie because it had Maggie Q in it. And she cute. But that's it. That's the only thing to look forward to in this movie is her. Everything else, bad. Script bad, shoot bad, everything bad.
Nice.
But that's what I watch. A movie called Fear the Night. You can find it on Paramount Plus with Showtime.
All right, man. Listen, so like you, this past week I checked out a movie that, you know what I'm saying, I probably normally wouldn't watch. Now that I've seen it. But I will say this though, Hulu did a hell of a job marketing and promoting this movie. It's a movie called Lazarus. I don't know who plays in it. I don't know nobody's name. None of these people. This is probably like not even a B list, maybe like a C list movie, maybe D list, borderline D list movie. But it's pretty much about this guy who pretty much was working with this drug dealer dude who he didn't know was a drug dealer. And what ended up happening was they was setting up in a shop, or they were setting up in his friend's auto shop to do some business or whatever, and he didn't know that there was a drug deal going down. Once he figured it out, he tries to stop the drug deal, and they kill him. And they cover up the whole drug deal by making it look like a robbery, like he tried to stop, you know what I'm saying, pretty much like a break-in of his friend's shop. Well, come to find out, it's a mystical power going around, and this nigga doesn't die. He comes back to life. He wakes up out of nowhere, and he's outside, and these 3 dudes are attacking this lady. So he get the fighting. But as he's fighting, you see like all this red shit surrounding him. So like he's still in their life source or their life power, whatever they was calling that shit. And he ends up meeting like this, I don't know if it's like a demon or like a hellspawn or whoever the motherfucker was supposed to be. They was calling it his guide or whatever, but whoever the dude was supposed to be was kind of teaching him what was going on. So he figured out that he can't die because all you got to do is pretty much just like kill somebody and he'll take their life source. So That's pretty much what the movie was about. Him getting revenge on the people who killed him. Now that he has superpowers, but somehow, some way, the dude finds out that he's alive still, and he finds out that he has superpowers. So he go get superpowers, and of course, the big battle at the end is the big battle of who has the most superpowers, and of course, Lazarus won. Um, yeah, it's on Hulu. Horrible movie as well. I tried to enjoy it as much as I could, but it wasn't like a good bad movie. It was like a bad movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of
Yeah.
those bad movies trying to like make it good. It was all bad, but it's called Lazarus. It's on Hulu. Trash.
All right. Look, I will say this, dude. I said this on my second to last episode I did. It's been a lot of trash movies coming out, man.
I mean,
A
we
lot
know
of
why
bad
though.
movies.
We know why.
And I just want to throw that out there. We ain't got to get into it, but it's just like this material just hasn't been a lot of good material coming out
And
as
all
of
the
late.
good
We
bad
know
movies is
why,
on Tubi.
but it's not looking well, man. It's not looking well. So just
I
saying.
agree, but real quick, I think it's something to say, right? That when you look at the value and the creativity that has been coming from those Tubi movies, right? I know we've been seeing clips of them about how bad the acting is and the choreography and some of the fights, quote unquote fights. It looks very bad, but just the creativity from it though. Some of those stories are pretty good, and if they had a big enough budget, I think they'd be way better than what we've seen. So I mean, maybe Hollywood need to make a few phone calls and sign some new deals, man, because it's some talent over there, man. It's a lot of talent over there.
I take your word for
Okay,
it.
I'm telling you, hey man, look, I know the clips might rub you the wrong way, but I'm telling you, watch a few of them, you'll be like, you know what, trash movie, great story. It's just they don't got the money to put it together. But back to the main feature, man. Selena and Yolanda. Um, Once again, this pretty much documents the events surrounding and happenings of the murder of Selena Quintanilla Perez. Well, that's gonna kill me. But it's directed and produced by Billy Mintz. I believe this came out this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so it came out this year. It's a docu series, so it's episodes to it. Um, Finishing this, is there anything new that you see where you like, I didn't know nothing about this, or it probably made you look at the whole situation a different way from what we've known growing up?
Um, I'm gonna put it to you this way: watching both episodes, you know what I'm saying. The first one was like an hour 24, and the last episode was like 47 minutes or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I am way more confused now than I was from watching the movie.
I did not expect that. Okay, talk to me.
Dude, this is one of those things where this is the one thing that I do like about it is the fact of so you got Yolanda telling her side,
Mm-hmm.
and you got prosecutors talking. You have the person who was the negotiator for it. He's talking. You have the person that wrote the book on this. He's talking. You got this one girl who spent her whole life like learning this story, and she's like she did like a blog or something like that. You know, she's talking like, and then also the one lady that was one of Selena's really good friends. She tells you on this, like in the first like 15 minutes, that she's actually Yolanda's niece. She said she's
Mm.
never said that on camera before. Like, so she was like, I know within saying this that I'm gonna get backlash
Wait a
because
minute. Wait a minute. So this is more than just fandom. Then
oh yeah, yeah, this is
this is like they was close then.
yes. They were super close. They
Oh,
got tons of pictures together.
well, no, I
And
know. So, okay, let's backtrack. Way back in the day, right?
okay,
Um, because after this happened, the movie comes out starring Jennifer Lopez,
yes,
and the movie gives you a POV of what happened, and I think because the movie was so close to the event, and because at the time, um, you know, she had hella fans, but for most people, well, I'm not gonna say most people. For some people, especially people who ended up eventually like getting into who Selena was and her music, didn't really know who she was then, right? Because I had no clue at who the fuck Selena was.
I didn't either. Even though
You know what
she
I'm
won a
saying?
Grammy, I had no idea who she was. But
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
still young though, because she got killed in '95, so I was 10.
Right.
So
That exactly. So I'm 7 at the time. So I don't know who Selena is. But I remember this movie coming out. I remember watching this movie and I'm like, yo, these people how the fuck did I miss this? Like, you know what I'm saying? You think like how the fuck do you miss something like this? To because it was pandemonium around her wherever she was going.
yeah,
Um and at the time you really didn't know too many Latin artists, right? So that was you would think that would be something um that would stand out, right? Like she would be somebody that would really stand out. Not only that, you find somebody like J Lo, the player, who at the time she'd done a few movies, but she was mainly known for being a dancer. I don't even think she had her singing career started yet at this time. So J Lo comes in, very beautiful, attractive woman, playing this other beautiful, attractive woman, and tells the story of her life. How her father pretty much was like he was like the Hispanic Joe Jackson outside of like the beaten part, but like you know what I'm saying, he was putting them together, and then like Selena took off. Then you find out that in the movie somebody from her fan club kills her, or at least that's what they portray. And then you get to this point and you cut and it's starting to look like maybe this wasn't nobody from no fan club, because remember people was placing this like in that John Lennon category.
yeah. And the thing is, with this focusing on what it's focusing on, you do learn that she was way more than and then this is the part that I didn't even realize. The way that the movie and I understand why the movie didn't want to focus in on that, because that was really like 2-3 minutes in the movie
Right.
toward the end. Like they didn't really want to focus on that.
Yeah.
Um, but she wasn't even the head of her fan club anymore at this time.
Okay.
She ended up stepping down from that position because Selena hired her to. So Selena had started a clothing line in a clothing store that had like, it was like she started this boutique. It had her clothes in it. It had a nail salon in it. Um, she had the one in Cypress Christie. She was trying to get one in San Antonio, and she had one in Monterey, Mexico, and that's where they
Yeah.
was making the clothes and transporting it in and all this type shit. So she
Hmm.
was like, "I need help with this type stuff. So can you, do this for me?" And she was like, "Well, if I do that, I'm gonna have to step down from the fan club thing."
Right.
So she's not even a part of. Well, she's not president of the fan club thing anymore. But she had already had there was a whole bunch of issues going on because the fans were calling in and talking to Abraham and fan mail was coming in. Y'all gotta understand this is the '90s.
Yeah.
So people
It's all
are,
fan mail.
yeah, they sending stuff in saying like, yo, we're not getting the stuff that we paid for.
Hmm.
And so they had a sit down with Yolanda saying like, yo, like the fans are saying that they're paying for the stuff and they're not getting it. And she's like, well, I'm not even really over there anymore because she got me running this boutique and
Mm-hmm.
her clothing line. So I'm not even really dealing with the fan stuff anymore. But then that's when the whole thing of like embezzlement comes in and all this type of stuff. So what the movie does, like the movie really wanted to get you a sense of like who Selena was, her start. You know what I'm saying? Um, just how Abraham was with the family, doing this whole thing kind of like the Jackson Five and all this type shit. So the movie gave you really honestly a watered down version than what this is. Because this is really focusing in on the shits. And when I tell you I'm way more confused now, it's because of like I said earlier, you got all of these people telling you their POV. And Yolanda is giving you her POV. And it's like, yo, I'm way more confused than I was in the beginning because you hear some of the shit that Yolanda's saying, like some of the shit makes sense. But let me say this, because I don't want nobody to clip this. At the end of the day, she shot Selena.
Well, yeah,
So
they never did they never deny in that, and I think this is what I think this documentary is out to show because it's weird, right? Like you don't really get most of the why she shot her kind of mentality thing. I think this is more so just an interview for Yolanda to pretty much tell her side of the story
yes,
because this is somebody that out of all of the people we've heard of that is involved with this, she's the one that we really haven't heard of. And if they I noticed that doing some research, I noticed that when they do any kind of interview on her, when they have done that, it's usually she's doing it in Spanish. She won't do it in English. So they said like this was her first English interview since her 30-year sentence. I mean,
yes,
well, since she's been in there, she's been there for 30 years or whatever. So this is like the first time she's really like, you know, talking for real to where everybody's going to be able to understand what's going on. And, you know what I'm saying? It's not up for really no real interpretation. Um, but I think what they were trying to do with this documentary was kind of shed light on what was really going on because for a lot of people, I don't think people really understood the situation at hand, right? Because for the longest, we've always thought that she was the head of the fan club, and she was like this super fanatical fan, right? And then two, I don't think people really understood the dynamic between those two, or even knew that there was a dynamic between those two.
yeah. There was like she was literally like Selena's like best friend. And the
Yeah.
crazy part about it, yo, she was only like 34 at the time, I guess.
Who?
Yolanda looked
Yolanda.
Yolanda looked like she was like 53. Like she was only
Yeah.
like
What
34.
was even crazier? Selena was only 23.
Yeah, she was only 23 at the time. But the thing, what Yolanda's trying to do, because for the people who haven't watched this, she's up for parole next year,
Yep.
2025.
March.
So she's trying to get her story out there. She's trying to get sympathy from the people by telling them her side of the story. But there's also some stuff that ends up playing out where it's like I was now. Let me say this: it's unexcusable that she shot this woman. There
Right.
was no reason for her to shoot this woman.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I ended up kind of going both ways because of some of the stuff that ended up being revealed in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that the police department, even the way they ran everything, like, dude, like, so there was a 7.5 hour standoff. You know what I'm saying, with the negotiator. You know what I'm saying? The negotiator ended up being this a black guy named Larry Young. He was the one that was trying to talk her out of the car and all this type stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So she was in the car for 7.5 hours. And then when they finally got her out of the car, You know what I'm saying? They took her to the police station, and then they go to try to get their confession or whatever. This is the issue. The issue is they didn't tape it.
The confession.
No, they didn't tape the confession. They didn't tape the interview. They didn't tape anything. And
So
her
this is
story,
basically our hearsay then.
yes, her story
Wow.
is yo, I went in there and she told them her side of the story or whatever, whatnot, and she said that they was like, yo, it's 12:30 a.m. I'm trying to go home. It went down this way, so you need to sign it. And she's like, that's not how it went down. She said they kept intimidating her, and she said that she just went ahead and signed the confession because they was intimidating her and they was talking about how they was ready to go home and all this type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they're talking to the cops, they're kind of like, oh, well, they didn't really explain why this. But now, even in 1995, we've seen situations where they get that big ass tape recorder, they hit the two buttons where you hit
It's
the
a
play and the
camera in there
record,
somewhere. Yeah.
like. But there's no footage, no audio, no nothing.
Wait, nigga, wasn't don't they got confessions and shit in interviews with OJ?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Now,
So you mean to tell me they can't do it in 1995?
Now in Cypress, Christie, Texas, I don't know if they were just slow on the times.
Nah,
I don't
man.
know what's going on.
Corpus Christi is like Dallas, basically, bro. That's a major hub in Texas.
But for some odd reason, they didn't have it. And I'm
Okay.
like,
Conspiracy theory. What if her dad was behind all of this shit?
well, this is the thing. You let Yolanda tell it. This motherfucker slashed her tires. This dude cut her brake line. This dude had some blue car following her around town.
Okay,
Like,
so in the movie, and this is why I said they was like making him out to be like the Hispanic. Hopefully I'm saying this right. The Hispanic or Latino. Excuse me if I'm not saying that right, because I know they changed it or something recently. But basically he was the Joe Jackson of the family. He wasn't
he
beating the shit out of him, but he was real aggressive.
he from the way they put it, not towards the kids,
Yeah.
but people fear Abraham.
Yeah.
Like people, like even other people was talking. They was like, "Yo, like I was very scared of Abraham," and they was like, he was an intimidating guy. They said he always muscled his way into situations and shit
He
like
was
that.
like that in the movie though.
Exactly, they did
Yeah.
portray him like that in the movie.
He was
So
like that in the movie.
yeah, he was a figure that was people kind of feared and all this type stuff. And like her whole thing of like why she even did what she did was basically because of Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
Was because she did fear him and all this type of stuff. She was like, that's the reason why she bought the gun in the first place,
Right.
was because she said that she feared her life against Abraham, because there was a meeting where they was like money was coming up short and all this type shit, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so they tried to say that she was embezzling money. Well, you
Yeah,
let
they said that
Yolanda
she
tell,
had some checks that she was writing to herself.
which she did have checks that
Mm-hmm.
she wrote to herself. But the way she explained it, Selena told her to write them checks to herself, because so Yolanda was the person that Selena used to, it's out there in the world, to get her shit off. Yolanda knew her secrets. Like, yes, she was married to Chris, but when she
Yeah.
would travel with Yolanda, you know what I'm saying, she was fucking dudes and shit. But there was one dude that she was basically in a relationship, Dr. Ricardo Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
He was this plastic surgeon that was in Mexico, in the
Mm-hmm.
same part of Mexico where she had her shop that she was trying to get in. I think it was Monterrey, Mexico, or whatever. And
Yeah.
so Yolanda and Selena flew down there, you know what I'm saying, to go see him. Well, to look in on their business, but also Selena went to go see him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that last time that they flew, because they flew down there 3 times, in a very short amount of time, and to
Yeah.
get tickets the last time, she told Yolanda to write a check in her name and like basically go to the bank and go buy the plane tickets.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It would only make sense of her to be able to do that with permission from Selena. Because if she was just doing that willy nilly, then that's a whole bank trail you can follow. It's a check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It ain't like it's, you know what I'm saying, she going to the ATM. No, it's a whole bank trail you can follow to figure out what she was doing with this money. I mean, even if you don't know exactly what she was doing with this money, you can still find out amounts. You can still find out dates. You know what I'm saying? Like you can find out locations. It's a bunch of different things you can find out from banks and stuff like that. Especially in a situation like this where it's a murder involved, they can get that information.
but then this is the crazy part though, dude. So they was trying to say that she was embezzling the money, and Yolanda was like, "From where?" She said
Right.
because Selena was putting all her resources
Into the stores.
into the stores, right?
Yeah.
But the stores weren't making no money because the store wasn't open yet. So Yolanda was like, "How am I embezzling something that's hemorrhaging money?" She's like, "The place don't even it's not even making money yet." So she was like, "How can I
Wait.
steal money when the place ain't even making money yet?"
Wait, time out, time out, time out. So you mean to tell me that we secretly finding out? Well, not secretly, but now it's coming out that Selena was a possible freak, and she was spending a whole bunch of money, quote unquote, on stores, and she probably was just really out here tricking on niggas.
That's the way Yolanda putting it.
Hey
Now,
man,
but
that's crazy.
so the doctor denied it back in like I don't know when the interview was. It had to be between 95 and like 99 or something like that. I forgot what the
As he
date was.
should, as he
And he
should.
denied it. Well, let's go into the 2000s.
Uh-huh.
They interviewed my man again.
He like,
And he,
yeah, I did it.
yeah, yes. He was like, yes. He was like, me and Selena, we was in love with each other. You know, we had a ongoing relationship, blase, blase, all this type shit. So now
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, but still, now, let me say this, because I don't want people to, at the end of the day, she still shot Selena. But, you know what I'm saying? The more and more you hear shit starting to come out, you like, okay, maybe this shit isn't as simple as it seems and it sounds. But this is what really threw me off. The whole thing of like the public is saying the reason she shot her is because they said that she was embezzling money. Basically, her back is against the wall and she shot Selena, right?
Right.
Okay, now they trying to say that basically she shot Selena because, quote unquote, Selena and Abraham fired her, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where the shit get tricky. So her niece, they had Yolanda's stuff in the storage building. But so because of her job title, Yolanda had a lot of, just
Access.
files and what I'm
Yeah.
saying, stuff like that. So they get all these boxes, they find all these files, all these tapes, and all this type of shit. So they have her people. There used to be a machine that we call somebody's house. I'm just speaking to if you got some people over what, Gen Z or whatever the fuck you call these motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, the
There used to
voicemail
be a
used to
thing
actually be
called
a machine.
it used to be an answer machine. You call somebody's house, you know what I'm saying? It would ring. And if they wasn't
Yeah.
at home, you would leave a message. And there was a tape that recorded
Yep.
it when you got home. You
A
hit the
small
rewind
cassette tape.
button. Yeah, a small cassette tape, you play it. So they had her cassette tape.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's a lot of stuff. But so backtrack. Yolanda used to be a registered nurse. She was the first person in her family to graduate from college and be a registered nurse. Got with Selena. Well, actually, this is how she got the job. She ended up. They said that she called like 15 times a day, my guy,
Mm-hmm.
and they would just say, "Yo, she's a big fan, and we'll put her ahead of our fan club, whatever, whatever." Okay, so she ended up quitting being a nurse to basically go work for Selena. All
Mm-hmm.
right, so because she was afraid of Abraham, she's accusing of embezzling money, all this type of shit. So Yolanda's like, yo, she goes to her lawyer, get a resignation letter typed out, telling Selena, like, yo, I can't do this no more. I'm too afraid of Abraham. I'm fearing for my life. I got my tires slashed. I got my brake line cut. I don't want to do this no more. So she
Mm-hmm.
said Selena turned down her letter, said, look, I really need you. I need you to help me with this, blah, 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 all this type of shit. All right. So let's go back to the tape thing. So her niece is playing her messages. There's a message on there from this place that she was going to. She was about to start her orientation on being a nurse. So it's like, whoa, wait a minute, why? So y'all trying to say the public saying that, oh, she's embezzling the money, Selena trying to fire her and she shot her. But now the resignation letter was actually, this is another thing the police fucked up at. This is some of that OJ shit.
Mm-hmm.
So in the room, in room 158, in the hotel room where Selena got shot, Yolanda purse was in the safe. So when they cleaned the room out, they got her purse out the safe, and it's been in the evidence locker or whatever, right?
Right.
They didn't put anything in the report that there was a resignation letter in the purse. Why wouldn't y'all say that? See, the police station, they fucked up some shit, man. I'm telling you. That's all I'm
So
saying.
this all could have easily been. So this is the way I look at it, right? Because it seems to be the thing in the early '90s with high profile cases. Um, Even with the one nigga that was in Beretta when he supposedly shot his wife, and they said that he didn't, but everybody said that he did. Um, it seems to be that the police and everybody around, because of the high profile person that is involved in it, I think they're trying to hurry up and solve it, right? Because of the whole thing with OJ. I think that kind of led a big I think that kind of set a huge precedent, right? Because if you go back and you pay attention to the OJ trial, you'll notice that this trial wasn't just a trial about husband killing a wife. It ultimately ended up really being about a black man killing a white woman, but even more so than that, it was just like this thing where racial tension has been so, you know what I'm saying, like so high and so tight that this shit is gonna have to blow. And then in the midst of like all of this shit that's going on, you get the what's his name?
Rodney King.
Yeah, you get the Rodney King situation. And then you get the LAPD situation. They've been beating the shit out of people for years. And then Mark Furman, you know what I'm saying? He go on and say some wild shit. And it's like all of this happens and then boom, the riots break out. Right. And I think in Texas, um, we've always had a quote unquote immigration problem. And because the people in Texas and Mexico um loved Selena so much, I think that's something that they didn't want to break out because yeah, the riots were something, but now you got shit in Texas where everybody got a fucking gun. Even in the 90s, everybody had a fucking gun. Like that's what Texas was known for. Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and guns and rodeos. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows this, right? No, I mean seriously, like if you really think back to the '90s, remember the Dallas Cowboys mascot?
Yeah, they had the
Yeah, he had guns. That's what I'm saying. The nigga had the mascot had guns, so that lets you know, like, yo, that shit. Everybody had guns in Texas at the time. So I think because they seen that happen, I think that was something that they were trying to hurry up and get ahead of, because that could have been a massive issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, shit could have really been bad.
yeah, like if because like they were playing like, you know what I'm saying, people who were like outside the courtroom and stuff like that, and they were just like, yo, if she don't get life, you know, somebody's gonna kill her, or you know, like it was just a lot of, you know, people was wild in the '90s. People making flat out threats on camera.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if somebody else don't do it, I'll do it type of shit. It's like,
yeah.
damn, like
Yeah.
Y'all wildin'. But like, what I'm saying is like the police was just like the shit wasn't buttoned up tight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if this documentary do anything, now say this again, Yolanda admitted shooting her, but the way she admitted it, that was some bullshit. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? I don't really fuck with. There's two things that I don't fuck with
Okay.
in this whole thing. The first thing is how she said it went down, and the other thing is so Yolanda was leaving Mexico. This is right before everything went down.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, she went to use the restroom. Two dudes come in the restroom, wrestle up, beat her up, all this little shit or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she gets back and she tells Selena that, you know what I'm saying, that she wants to quit and all this type of shit. She got beat up in the bathroom and all this type of stuff. Now they're in that hotel room, but
Yeah.
this is the night before, and Chris was with her that night. So they take her to the hospital to get her checked out.
Explain who Chris is.
So Chris Perez was two things. He was Selena's husband, and he also was a band member in the
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
So they're
Who
over there.
Abraham did not want her to be with,
Yes,
by the way.
yes, he didn't want anybody to be with Selena. He
Exactly.
was a little bit on that little weird shit. You know what I mean?
We got
But
it. We gotta get into him too, because I'm telling
yeah,
you, that's what I'm saying. It's knowing the facts from, well, not the facts, but knowing the information from this. There's some things that you can kind of put together here, and you can come up with a decent theory as to what, what I'm saying, what was going down.
yes. And so they took her to the hospital, and they had pictures, and she had some bruises, but the way she explained it, you would think that she would be like, I mean, bruised up, bruised up. And Slim was kind of looking at her like, it don't really look like you was like attacked by two men. You know what I mean? Like one of those type situations. So that,
Okay,
so there was
I'm
a
sorry.
letter.
Time out. I got to do this. I got to do this. I'm sorry. So she was leaving Mexico, and she got attacked by two men. Now, I love my Mexicans, but it ain't really a lot of big Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible she could have got attacked by two Mexican men. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't really, you know what I'm saying, do do as much damage. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I hear you. And so the button up that story, they going through her like I said, because they so the one lady, her niece, because there was two of her nieces and a nephew. That
Mm-hmm.
was they. It was three of them sitting at the table. They were the one who was going through all Yolanda stuff that was in the
Right.
storage building. So they found this letter that's from this guy that was Dr. Ricardo Martinez, the dude that she was having an affair with in
Mm-hmm.
Mexico. His like chauffeur or his driver or whatever the hell he was wrote Yolanda. Okay, sent her now, y'all back in the day, 95. He sent a letter
Yep.
basically saying, yo, it was Dr. Martinez who sent those two dudes to go in there and beat you up. And I'm like, wait a minute. That sounds a little suspect. First of all, why the fuck is this driver just all of a sudden just get your address and just fucking write you and tell you the guy that I'm working for sent two dudes to go beat you up?
Yeah.
That just seems a little convenient that that a driver just got your address and wrote you when Dr. Martinez, if anybody would have fucked with Yolanda, it would have been him because of how overprotective Abraham was. Abraham didn't let Selena travel like by herself.
Exactly.
So Yolanda was the only person, like I said, when the way she put it, when Selena went to get her shit off, she could only do it with Yolanda.
Mm-hmm.
So Yolanda, quote unquote, knew all her secrets. So what I'm
See,
saying is,
this is what I'm saying, right? Now let's get into conspiracy theory mode. Yolanda is with Chris, right?
no,
And
Yolanda's not with Chris.
I mean,
You
I'm
mean
sorry,
Selena?
Selena's with Chris, right? And even though Abraham don't fuck with it, he kind of ain't got no choice because it's the breadwinner. This the big money right here. You need her to be happy. So you ain't fuck with it, but you ain't making no big deal about it. You just like fuck it. It is gonna be what it is. She gonna do what she gonna do, right? Well, you notice that she's opening these stores. Now you notice she opened a store in Mexico. You're
Which
probably
Abraham didn't
thinking,
fuck with. He did not
come
want her to
on,
do the stores.
come on. So now you see she opened one in Mexico. Now you probably Abraham probably thinking, why the fuck is she opening a store in Mexico? Right?
Mhm.
Well, do a little research behind it. He probably get into some, he's an aggressive motherfucker. He finds out that there's this guy, Dr. Martinez, who's been snooping around. Well, come to find out, she's sleeping around with Dr. Martinez. Well, he can't outright ask her because it's a chance that, what I'm saying, she get him up out of here. Because now at this point in time, she big time, big time. She 23, she grown as fuck. Like she can really do what she want to do. But he got to be in there because he need that money. You know what I'm saying? He need to be a part of this. He start hitting Yolanda up. Yolanda don't say nothing because her loyalty lies with Selena. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? She already don't fuck with Abraham. But
True.
he knows she knows something. Because like you said, everywhere they go, she with him. I mean, she with her. Well, he know about Dr. Martinez, but he don't know exactly what's going on with Dr. Martinez. He probably done did some research, done asked around, saying done, he got some ties to Mexico. He probably figured out that this motherfucker is a nice, well-to-do guy. You know what I'm saying? He got a nice, good practice. He got a driver. So what if I send some motherfuckers there and frame it all on Martinez? Now she's scared because now she's not gonna want to go. He's probably thinking this. She's not want to go. She's not going to want to go to Mexico because she's going to probably think that Martinez is trying to take her out. So whenever Selena want to go to Mexico, she probably gonna be like, "Nah, I don't want to go. I don't want to do that." So now Abraham can say, "Nah, you don't need to go to Mexico by yourself. It's too dangerous." You know what I'm saying?
Well, the only issue with that is he didn't let her travel, like even anyone in the United States without somebody.
But that's my point. That's what I'm saying. But
So
remember, the only person she going anywhere with is Yolanda.
is
Now,
Yolanda for the most part.
if he can convince Yolanda that Dr. Martinez is trying to out her, she ain't gonna want to go to Mexico. She ain't gonna want to be nowhere around that motherfucker. So now that's his way of stopping her from getting to Mexico and fucking this shit up with Martinez.
Conspiracy theory. Well, I can see
You
where
know what I'm
that
saying?
theory comes from.
You know what I'm saying?
I can see, but that's why, like, I think that the letter is a conspiracy theory. I
Mm-hmm.
think Yolanda fucking just got somebody to wrote that shit and send that to him because it don't make sense because if they were really quote unquote in love the way Dr. Martinez put it,
Mm-hmm.
she has to talk about Abraham and how Abraham don't let her travel by herself and travel without Yolanda and all that type of shit. So in all actuality, Dr. Martinez needed fucking Yolanda. So he can even
That's my
see
point.
Selena
So
in the
why would
first
he?
place.
But that's my point. So because that's how I'm thinking off rip. He need Yolanda more than anybody. He need to make
Exactly.
sure Yolanda is good. But it don't make sense for him to send people after Yolanda, right?
Thank you.
But I'm saying I think that because this is okay. So for me, a lot of this was based off of the movie for me because I didn't do no whole bunch of research and then I just remember watching this movie consistently because my cousins for some reason loved this movie. So I know a little bit about it. I don't know too much about it. I've tried to do some research, but it ain't really too much. It's pretty much all the same fucking story. Her president of her fan club killed her. That's pretty much where you end up getting to until you get to this documentary, right? So going off of what I know, the little bit of stuff that I know from the movie, just the way that his character is portrayed off rip is already sketchy. Because why is he portrayed this way? Why is this is supposed to be a movie about family, the Selena and her family and how they love everybody loved her and everything else, and then you got this grumpy motherfucker in the movie the whole time, and I'm like, yo, something off about that. That don't sit right with the story because it's like, okay, she making it. Why you so mad all the time? I understand you being protective, but it's a way to be protective.
Yes,
This ain't it.
yes. And like I said, there were multiple people who was like, yo, like he was a very
Exactly.
intimidating guy. So the second thing I didn't fuck with was her whole story about how it went down. Because she was like, so she bought a gun,
Mm-hmm.
told Selena that she bought the gun. She was scared of Abraham and all that type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Selena talked her into taking the gun back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she takes the gun back. Well, like a week later, I may be wrong on the time, but she goes back to the same place she bought the gun and end up rebuying the gun again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So fast forward to what I was saying. Selena took her to the hospital. Selena and Chris, they were just like they just thought that the bruises wasn't really enough or whatever. They're talking about whatever they're talking about, and so Selena and Chris leave. Well, Selena comes back early in the morning by herself to
Mm-hmm.
talk to Yolanda. So Yolanda, it says she's telling her how she's gonna resign, all this type shit, and how she's super scared and all this, and Selena don't want her to go. So what Yolanda says is she put the gun to her own head. This is Yolanda. She put a gun to her head and just like, yo, like I'm just gonna end this shit. I can't take it anymore, and all this fucking shit, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then Selena goes to the door. Now Yolanda, she said it like three times. I don't really know how to use a gun. I never really used the gun. All this type of shit. So
Mm-hmm.
she was like, so she got the gun to her own head, and then she said that Selena went to the door to go out the door, and she was like, "Don't go out the door." And then she just says the gun goes off. So a gun that you had pointed at your head. Somebody goes, Selena goes to the door, and you said don't go to the door, and the gun just go off. She thinks she slick by not saying that she pointed the gun at Selena and the gun
Oh,
just went off.
one hundred
No,
percent
no,
she
no.
pointed
She
that.
she had the gun at her head
Yeah.
and then the gun goes off. And I'm like, yo, you don't get that bullshit out of here. So it that
So
those
what if, right? What if Selena didn't want her to leave, right? So much so to where Selena was like, yo, I'm not accepting no resignation letter from you. Like,
yes,
without you, I can't get my shit off.
yes.
And Yolanda's doing her best. She's trying to get away from the situation. She's really trying to get out of there because maybe Abraham is this really abusive and aggressive person, and he's really doing shit that scares her. She goes to buy the gun. Selena like, yo, you don't have to worry about it. I fix it. So whatever, just take the gun back. She's still a fan at the same time, still a friend at the same time. Maybe she can fix it. She takes the gun back. Maybe some other shit happens. She like, you know what? This shit ain't getting fixed no time soon, and I'm not gonna be able to leave out of this shit no time soon. This shit is feeling like a gang at this point. I'm going back to go get this fucking gun because either they gonna let me leave out of here by choice, or they gonna have to let me leave out this motherfucker by force. Like you said, she got the orientation on the table. Like, you know what I'm saying? She got it to where she can go live a nice life. But somehow, some way, Abraham keeps getting brought up, and nobody's doing anything about Abraham. That's the thing that's always lingering on me. What the fuck are they doing about Abraham? Because at this point, it's like if this is your friend, this is somebody that what I'm saying, you fuck with, and she's telling you, hey, I really love you, but your motherfucking daddy, man, listen, something about this motherfucker I can't get with. And you like, oh no, he just like that. That's how he is. But you know how he really is too. And he do some of the same shit to you. And you like, yo, you know what I'm saying? This shit is pressing. When you get with your dude, he tripping on that. Like, so now you sneaking around doing all this shit with Yolanda. And then it's getting to the point to where this shit is seeping over to Yolanda. Maybe she's, you know what I'm saying? She is going through some shit. Maybe he's doing some shit that nobody knows about. And then, like she said, she gets attacked in the bathroom by two men. And then when it happens, they looking at her like, oh, well, the bruises ain't really. No, motherfucker, I got attacked. That's a traumatic situation, regardless of how the bruises look. I really got attacked. So I'm trying to. I keep trying to tell you. I keep trying to tell you, yo, I gotta take this shit to the extreme at some point. They get in the hotel. Maybe she did hold it to her head, and then maybe Selena freaked out, about to leave out. She hold it to Selena like, "Don't move." Selena tried to probably. I mean, yeah, she tried to bust a move. Bow, she shot her. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
what else was she supposed to do? Because now at this point, it looked like a crazy person holding a gun to Selena, and she freaked out and pulled the trigger.
And this is true, and that's why I kept saying, like, at the end of the day,
Yeah,
she shot her, and she said she did, but
for
she
sure.
worded it in a way of like it was an accident. She was just like, I never meant to do it. It was never something that was premeditated. It wasn't anything that was
And that's what
planned,
I'm
and
saying.
all that type stuff.
It could definitely be that because maybe the gun was never intended for Selena. Maybe the gun was. Oh, what if? Hear
Oh, the
me out.
gun was for Abraham.
Hear me out. What if she told Selena about the gun to kill Abraham?
Well,
Selena
she took.
says, "I don't want you to kill my dad," so on and so forth. Just take the gun back. We'll forget all this ever happened. She goes back, sneaks the gun, and in the she ends up getting attacked. Goes to tell Selena. Then now Selena knows she got the gun again. She's like, I can't let you kill my father. She about to go, sit out the door to go tell somebody. She gets scared. Pow! Shoot the gun and kills her.
That's highly, highly possible.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's why I think that, look, Yolanda, I'm pretty sure she's been talking to a lot of lawyers and all types of shit like that. That's why she worded a lot of things the way that she worded it
Absolutely.
and said it the way that she did. Because I think all she's trying to do is to put something out for the parole board, just to basically to peek, to poke holes. Number one, but also the same shit. The great example you used earlier, but the OJ shit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, if you watch or even listen to, what I'm saying, one of our greatest episodes, fucking OJ Made in America. If you the reason OJ got off at the end of the day is because they was able to poke holes and get reasonable doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Like the forensics team fucked up. Like there was a lot of mistakes that were made by the police department. In this situation, there was a lot of mistakes made by the police department. And I
Absolutely.
think what Yolanda's trying to do, because she has a life sentence, 30 to life, basically.
Yeah.
And now she's coming up on a 30. And I think what she's trying to do is to, like, look, they didn't take my confession. The whole narrative is that I got fired and I didn't want to leave. When in all actuality, I got a resignation letter that the police hid.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even log in the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a quote unquote, which I think the letter's bullshit, but either way, I got a letter from Dr. Martinez's driver saying that Dr. Martinez was the one who sent the people to come and attack me.
The letter is complete bullshit. It's either like you said from her or it's from Abraham.
Yeah. And so I think what she's trying to do for the parole board to look at it and be like, you know what? First of all, this is 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? You're an older lady now. You're not really a threat to society. And when we go back and look at all the evidence, there are a lot of things that say, yo, this isn't so cut and dry the way that you end up being convicted. You got convicted on a lot of circumstantial shit, but no, at the time it wasn't really circumstantial. Now there's a lot of that. And it's like now a lot of it is pointing to, because they ended up not pursuing the embezzlement part, because they was like, well, we got her on murder. What's the point of pursuing this embezzlement part? So they let that shit go. But
Mm-hmm.
now the way that Yolanda put it is she didn't have no money to fucking embezzle, because she was like, her she was spending, she was kicking out more money than she was getting in. Yolanda said there were times where we couldn't even pay the payroll
Yeah.
because they didn't have enough money to pay the people who were working for the store or whatever because the store wasn't making any money.
Right.
So now you go back and you look at this. I'm just gonna go out on a limb. Now, at the end of the day, look, like I said, she shot that woman. Whether it was
Mm-hmm.
premeditated or whatever, she took a life. But I think just we'll have to revisit this in a year from now if she don't pass away, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is the way that this thing went and how there were, I think they talked to two detectives. Like, no, they talked to a detective and a prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, they fucked some shit up.
See, this is
And
the thing. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. But this is why, to me, with like certain like stories and docs and stuff like that, you gotta look for the things that aren't there, right? Nobody from her family was a part of this documentary.
who family?
Selena's.
Selena? Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Nobody, yes,
Nobody was a part of this documentary. Um, which was already, to me, I think that's weird, right? Well, come to find out, it wasn't that they weren't offered, but
yes,
everybody from her family denied
yes,
to even be a part of this. So that's a weird thing right there. And we know that's what happened because TMZ reports talked to Abraham, and he said that they not getting involved in it. That's his words, right? Um, when they even asked to talk to him, he was saying that he didn't want nothing to do with it. He didn't want to talk about it or nothing like that. But also go back and remember that he was the one that was saying that she was embezzling money.
yes.
Those are his claims. Easily could have been fixed if he talked to Selena about it. But he was saying she was stealing money.
Well, they did. There was a meeting that Yolanda spoke about where
Mm-hmm.
they brought her in and they went over the missing money, and
Mm-hmm.
Selena was in there. Like Selena Abraham, it was another person that was in there, um, and Yolanda was like, he was like being aggressive, going in on her, but and the other person in the room was like, yo, like she kept looking at Selena, and like Selena was just like kind of like look down, like
Mm-hmm.
because I guess she was even afraid to really say something or
Nah,
interfere.
that's not fear. That's guilt.
Well, the thing is, when they was so Abraham came up with these claims,
Yeah.
showed Selena, but this is the thing: it took him a while to convince Selena that Yolanda was quote unquote doing this because she didn't believe it.
Or it took him enough times to keep coming to Selena about it to where she finally wanted to go with it and say, okay, well, maybe she is. Because remember, she's flying to Mexico to go be with a whole nother person. She's going to do all of these things that could quote unquote ruin her reputation. That's what remember, this is what Yolanda's
Yes,
saying. She don't want that to get out. She has this wholesome reputation that everybody loves her, and you know what I'm saying. She's this angel, and yeah, she has to keep that reputation up. So if he's getting on this trail and he's gonna find out some stuff that he probably she don't want him to find out, then she's gonna go along with the story. And when they're in the meeting, she's not looking down off of fear. She looking down off of guilt. Cause usually when you do some shit and don't nobody know you did it, and when somebody find out you do it, and they come in the room like, man, who ate all my motherfucking Cheetos? You instantly get to looking away like, man, I wonder who the fuck ate all the Cheetos. You know what I'm saying? Man, I wonder who the fuck did that. You ain't gonna look at that person. So once shit start getting said and once things start, you know what I'm saying, being revealed, yo, she like, fuck, I didn't know about that. Damn. And so the other person looking like, something right here. So yeah, because I mean, think about this, right? If she was stealing money, let's just if was a fifth. If she was stealing money, first and foremost, she wouldn't be trying to resign. That wouldn't even make sense. I'm stealing money. I'm getting away with it, right?
Hmm.
Not only that, she telling me to go do the shit. It ain't like I'm sneaking and doing it. She telling me to go do it. So this is some shit I could get away with. I don't need to be no motherfucking nurse if I could just get access to her money whenever I want to.
These are facts.
You know what I'm saying? So
And
I'm just saying, I'm trying to play devil's advocate for the people out there. I don't know any of this. I don't believe any of this. This is just strictly playing devil's advocate. I just think that we we're not looking at the wrong person, but we are looking at the wrong person, right? I don't think she's the only one complicit in this shit. And I think that if you don't have a figure like Abraham around, maybe this doesn't happen. But
I,
you know what
I
I'm saying?
think what yeah, I think what you're I think your one scenario earlier was more than likely what happened. Like I personally believe this wasn't a premeditated type of thing.
I don't either.
I don't think that she shot Selena with ill malice. I
Right.
think that it could have been like what you said, where whether it was either her story and saying like I'm gonna kill myself, and maybe Selena's like, yo, let me go get some help or something, and
Mm-hmm.
don't go to the door, and then she shoot her at the door when she's trying to
Right.
go out, or is yo, I got this gun, I'm gonna take like your scenario, I'm gonna take Abraham out, and she's like, you know what, I changed my mind, and she goes towards the door and like, don't go out the door, and then she shoot her.
And shoot her,
Either
yeah.
way, either way, she shot her, but it's also like now, like hearing now obviously you brought up a great point by saying nobody from Selena's family spoke on this.
That's what I'm saying.
All
And
of
even
all of, yeah.
even Abraham being offered declined it. You don't wanna be a part of this. Knowing what it's about, knowing who it's about,
And
you
what
don't
it's
wanna
about.
yeah, you
Because
don't wanna put your input on that.
dude, like Abraham got to be smart enough. And it ain't even really him. He got lawyers. These
Yeah,
lawyers are telling him the parole board is gonna be watching this. They're looking at this.
yeah.
So do you want to put, what I'm saying, your input in here so you can have another direction? Because, like I say, the cops and the prosecutor, they're on their side. And that one girl who is just like this blogger who spent her whole life learning this whole Selena
Hmm.
story, like they're like stone cold, like on Selena's side. Now, the guy that wrote the book, he's like,
It's
I
some
would
other shit
say,
here.
I would say he's like 70 Selena and like 30
Yeah,
just,
because there's some other shit going on.
yeah.
It's a lot of shit that has really, truthfully, in my opinion, it's a lot of shit that has been missed. And I think that Abraham is a central figure that people need to focus on. And it seems like every time this this gets brought up, or this somebody does anything about it, right? He's always the one who ends up in the dark. He's always the one that's in the shadows, in the background, that we don't nobody focuses on him. Because it's really weird to me personally how I know, like, I'm 100% sure he know every date coming up for that woman in jail, all that shit, right? Especially somebody that killed my child. Oh, I'm focused on all of this shit. So when this comes out, even if, let's say they didn't reach out to him, I'm bashing the fuck out of this. I'm in the news talking crazy about this. I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that this gets as much negative press as possible. But you decline every opportunity to even talk about it, to even possibly tell her side of the story, or like anything. Nah, man, that's weird to me. That's weird as fuck.
yeah, there's always like this dark cloud that's over Abraham. I
Yeah,
do think that, you know, if there was a situation like the altercation in the bathroom, that could have been fucking Abraham
that's what I'm
doing
saying.
it.
I truly think it is.
And he could have
Especially
wrote
if
the
she
letter.
said,
Maybe
yeah,
he
that's what I'm
didn't write
saying.
it, but got somebody to write the letter and say he's
Yeah.
Dr. Martinez's driver and Dr. Martinez
Because
sent these people to beat you up.
that's what I'm saying. So just randomly her tires is getting slashed. You know what I'm saying? She just randomly talking about how she's scared of this motherfucker. Why is she scared of him? What could possibly transpire for her to be scared of him? That's the question that needs to be asked. That's the question that needs to be looked into because something ain't right about that dynamic. Because if this is somebody who is your daughter's friend, right? And you at least trust her enough to go with Selena to go places, then all of a sudden all of this shit is happening to her. But ain't no more. You don't hear no more about Abraham after that. It's just weird as fuck, man. It's super fucking weird. I like I said, I think he found out what was either found out or he had an inkling of what was really going on, and he knew that there was some shit that was going on. He probably went to her and asked her, "I need you to tell me the truth." And because she's so loyal to Selena, she was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." That pissed him off, and he probably looked at it like you probably being a bad influence on her, so on and so forth. I want you away from my fucking daughter. She like, you don't get to tell me that. You know how that go. Next thing you know, they butting heads, but Selena's still trying to do everything that she's trying to do and keep everything at bay. And I think in that meeting, that's when shit went downhill. I think that he was getting closer and closer to finding out what the fuck was going on, and he was like putting the pressure on Yolanda, and she fucking cracked, and it
Yeah,
ultimately led up to her accidentally killing Selena.
yeah, because like he was leaning on her on the embezzlement thing, but also this whole thing of like the people who were saying that they wasn't getting their merch or
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that they bought. Like he's going at Yolanda, and like Yolanda's like, I'm not even ahead of that
See
anymore.
what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Like, so why are you bringing this to me? Like, if they're not getting their stuff, there's someone else that you need to be talking to. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So yeah, like I honestly do think that like he is the gray cloud that's around this thing, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
maybe if he went on here and he spoke, it could have been a situation where he
Would
could
have
have
cleared
been
some shit
asked.
up.
Yeah, they could have some of the producers could have asked him questions that he didn't want to answer because it
Mm-hmm.
would have made him look, what I'm saying, not as good. Now, at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, I'll say this again: did Yolanda shoot her? Yes. Did
Absolutely.
Yolanda
Yeah.
kill her? Yes. But and then the crazy part was, dude, do you know what Selena's last words were? Oh my god. So Selena was able to, and this part I didn't know because in the movie, all they show you is Yolanda. Well, it's kind of
Yeah.
like the room. If I'm not mistaken, you hear a gunshot, and all of a sudden she's in the truck with a
Yeah.
gun to her, and that was it. So when she shot Selena at the door, Selena ran out, went through the courtyard, dripping blood, all the way to the office, gets to the office, fell on the floor, and then the person that ran the front desk went up to her and like Selena was like, I've been shot. And it was like, who shot you and all this type of stuff. She says, Yolanda, what's her name? Salvador in room 158 and then dies. That's crazy. Like that was her last like thing on this earth was saying that Yolanda Salvador shot me. She's in room 158 and then she passed. So like,
Hey man. Okay. I'm gonna say this, and I might get some heat for this. I really don't care. Right? Knowing what we've been finding out about like all of these celebrities within these like last few years, it's a high. Well, I'm not gonna say high. There's a slight possibility. I changed that. There's a slight possibility that this woman could have really been getting used by them.
You mean Yolanda?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And the reason I say that is because, right? Remember how she even gets entered into this whole equation? She's a super fan. She's
Yes.
calling 10 times a day. She's leaving, and eventually they make her the fan club president or whatever, the head of the fan club or whatever. In the midst of all that, because you have somebody like Abraham who's so strict, she ends up becoming a close friend to Selena because this is somebody that, what I'm saying, really fucks with Selena, but ultimately, what I'm saying, they're always in close proximity. Somehow, some way they're in proximity. So eventually she ends up becoming real good friends with Selena. Selena sees this as a way to be able to do things that she normally couldn't do, right? Abraham, as usual, don't fuck with none of that shit. He don't really give a fuck. He don't want nobody around her. He whatever. But because he sees Yolanda as somebody who just really admires Selena, he lays back and he's okay with this shit. Once he starts seeing shit going weird, some money shit start happening because this is the shit she was attached to. Now he's looking at her skeptical, right? Start looking at her skeptical, and then he start finding out some more shit. Now he's not just looking at her skeptical. Now he's also looking at Selena skeptical, but now he's looking at her like you're the foreigner in this situation. And none of this shit was happening before you got here. So once you got here, shit started going awry. You're the bad influence. And Selena, right, knowing how her dad is, knowing the type of man he is, she still wants to go do the things that she wants to do, but she knows there's no other way for her to go do that because without Yolanda, who else is going to be there besides family and stuff like that, right? Because that's pretty much all she had around her was her family.
Yep.
So Yolanda's the only person that's not family, not blood, and wasn't there from the beginning. This is just a fan. Yolanda is going to do anything Selena wants to fucking do. So Selena is looking at this like, yo, you are my golden ticket. I can't let you loose. Abraham sees some shit. He's, what I'm saying? So she got that right there. She tries to leave, can't leave. Selena like, nah, I can't let you up out of here. Abraham on the other side, right? This nigga is like the fucking werewolf outside. You can't go outside and you gonna get bit. So she like, yo, I really I really like being around Selena, but like I can't fuck with him. Like this motherfucker is giving me the fucking heebie jeebies. So she's fearful of him, but she admires the fuck out of Selena. So now it's like, you know what I'm saying? Do I stay here with this motherfucker that I really fuck with? Even though, I got this motherfucker that I don't fuck with at all, looming around all the time, or do I fucking eventually just get the fuck out of here and just call it what it is? She tries that. Selena denies it. Now you get this situation. You know what I'm saying? It could be a possibility that both of them really just use this woman, and to the point to where she just fucking broke. And now I'm not giving her no sympathy because
Yeah.
she committed a fucking murder. So there's no sympathy there. She admitted she committed a murder. So there's no sympathy there. But I think that, especially when it comes to celebrities and stuff like that, like we forget that there's still people at the end of the day, even though they have access to a lot of shit and, so on and so forth. But there's still people at the end of the day. And sometimes what ends up happening is they take advantage, maybe without even knowing that they doing it, but they take it advantage of some of the people around them who admire them or who look at them in a certain light. And I think that's possibly what could have happened between that situation with her and Selena. And if Selena is somebody who's been pretty much repressed her whole life by her father, and she finally has this one person who he's like, all right, I'm gonna let y'all kick it, but only with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She probably wouldn't want to let that go. You know what I'm saying? Because say Yolanda do leave, then her dad could be like, "See, I told you. You see what I'm saying? This is why you should listen to me," type shit. So I don't know, man. It's a lot of shit is based on him, if you ask me. But I really think that like with that situation, because for years they've always pinned it as this super fan who killed Selena. Now seeing that they had some type of relationship, shit don't look the same no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit look a little weird now.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, man, at the end of the day, like a lot of the stuff that you're saying make a lot of sense. It has validity to it. Um, I think that there is that's why they put it in there. I think there's a
Mm-hmm.
difference between like first degree murder and premeditated murder. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I definitely think that this was more of first degree murder than premeditated. I think that she had
Mm-hmm.
the gun, but I don't think it was her intention to necessarily use it on Selena
Right.
slash kill Selena. I don't think that she was the reason why she had the gun. I do believe Yolanda in the point of she did have the gun because of Abraham, and
I think so too.
I do think that you know there is a reason why he don't necessarily want to tell his side because there's a lot of skeletons that are what I'm saying that are sitting around and it does suck that her skeletons are being brought to the front light
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
I
Without
mean,
her being able to defend herself.
yeah,
Absolutely.
what I'm saying with the whole Dr. Martinez and not even just Dr. Martinez, but like she was saying that they were going to like I can't remember. I think she said maybe they flew out to Vegas or somewhere, and she was like Selena would just go to the room with these guys and stuff when they would what I'm saying fly somewhere and stuff.
I
So
mean,
like
but it's not. That's to me. That's not something that I would be like. No way. Yeah, she had a fucking father who was looming over her fucking life all the 24/7. So to me, that shit makes sense. Same shit with Michael Jackson. Yeah, this nigga Mike wanted to be a kid in real life. He might wanted
yeah,
to kick it with kids because all his fucking life, this nigga was on stage looking at fucking Barry Gordy in the face, going into fucking studio time with Quincy Jones. This nigga never got to play with a fucking transformer.
I mean these are facts.
You know what I'm
These are
saying? So yeah, sometimes you get into that shit. So am I shocked that Selena probably was going around and possibly had hoes? No. First and foremost, she's Selena. This motherfucker is world famous. Yeah, she's supposed to have hoes. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have a normal childhood. She was 23.
yeah. And I think that and I think one of the reasons why and I don't know this and it's all speculation
Yeah,
that she married Chris because like Chris was the person that was going to be around all the time and
absolutely.
he was an easy target to marry like he
He's
was
the
the only
fucking.
dude that
He's the.
wasn't blood related to you that was there.
Come on, man. That so you see what I'm saying now. You see how she attaches herself to these outsiders because that's her only source of fucking freedom.
I
She
mean,
she she get around Chris. What she do? Marry Chris, right?
yep.
She get around fucking Yolanda. Next thing you know, this is her quote unquote best friend. Yeah, man, this shit, it's a pattern there. Cause everybody else is her goddamn family. She don't got no real friends. She ain't never really had no childhood, as you can see, because she been singing and shit all her goddamn life. Yeah, this shit happens. She needed to get out and get amongst the world. Like she needed to go see what the world was about. She's a fucking famous 23-year-old that everybody loves and can't do shit. Can't go nowhere. Not because it's dangerous for her. No, it's because her fucking father is pretty much, you know what I'm saying, keeping her tied up. Nah, man. It's something up with that motherfucker.
Yeah. And then in closing, and there's a reason why he did not want that store to pop off, because I
Mm-hmm.
think that if that store would have popped off with her
I was over.
popularity, yeah, like he wouldn't be able to control her at all, because now
Absolutely.
she got her own stream of income that ain't got
Because
nothing to
remember,
do with him.
because he all he kept talking about is her music career. That's all he
Yeah,
kept talking about is her music career, her music career. Her, you got to do music, get into music. She like, yo, it's other shit out here that I could be doing. I've done music. It's gotten me to the point to where I'm able to open up stores. I want to own businesses. Like she wanted to go live life. He wasn't with that shit.
yep. He did not want that store to pop off.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I mean, there's a that's what I'm saying. That's why I told you I am more confused after watching this shit
absolutely,
than watching it, because it's like,
absolutely.
you know, I know Yolanda saying some stuff that'll work good for the parole board, but then at the same time, some of it makes sense, and I honestly believe, like, for them not to tape that confession and to hide that resignation letter,
Hmm.
it's like, you know, y'all did
And
some shit
that's
that wasn't by the book.
yeah, and not for nothing. That's gonna be huge, man.
Yeah.
Especially now, that's gonna be huge, bro.
Even the detective was like, well, I don't know what happened to the resignation letter. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, damn,
Yeah,
dude, you were there,
but
and now
that's
you can't
but
answer for it.
also that's admittance that there was a resignation letter.
Exactly. So
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
what I'm saying. I look, I'm not on either side, and I'm gonna say this
Right.
before we get out of here. But it could be a situation next year where they like, you know what? From all the evidence that we got here, shit that was kind of pushed under the rug,
Mm-hmm.
you being like 70 or almost 70 now, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
not really a threat to society. That's what a lot of people don't understand about a lot of the parole shit. Like, they can look at you and be like, yo, you are a 5 foot 70-year old woman. Like, you don't look, you're not really a threat to society. You look a little frail, you know what I'm saying? With the evidence that was presented, and there's a lot of, no real
Mm-hmm.
confession, stuff being hidden. They could be like, you know what? You served 30.
Man, listen,
I'm just saying.
that woman has a chance to get free and go write a tell-all book, and that is, I think, where shit is going to hit the fan.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? The documentary already is something that everybody was talking about. So imagine if she gets to the point to where she's able to write a book about this shit and really get to the details and really tell her side of the story, like in for real detail, where she could really say some of the shit that was going on when they was flying to these different places and shit. Uh, shit getting murky, man.
Yeah, it definitely does that.
Well, let's go ahead and get into the Fire Flames, bro.
Let's do it.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
So what you doing? What you giving this?
Um, but like what I said, man, like they were able to, I guess, really just get the people that would talk. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
like I think that not really having really but 1.5 people kind of really on Selena's side. And then everybody else. I mean, shit, 3 of the people was related to Yolanda. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, um, with that being said, the information that's being given, I do think that I am still confused, and I'm gonna give it a 3.5
Yeah.
because, but some of it is not their fault. I think you reach out to the people, they say no, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But I do think that would have made it better if they would have been able to have, Chris or,
Mm-hmm.
one of Selena's siblings. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else that was like on her team at that time to speak about this.
Right.
Like nothing. So I'm gonna go a 3.5 on this.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Mainly just because of the fact, that, like you said, that and it's not their fault, but they don't have that opposing view. And I think especially for documentaries, I think the best documentaries are the ones that have both, at least somewhat of both sides of the story.
Yeah.
Whether it's the people that believe them or whether it's the people that don't believe them. And even though you kind of had this, it wasn't the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the people that were directly there or directly affected, at least. Right. I think
Mhm.
that to have somebody like Chris, or maybe, like you said, one of her siblings, or possibly even Abraham, on the other side of this, it would have been way more compelling than what it is. And it's already compelling because
Yeah.
it's so controversial. But I think it would have took it up that much of a notch for me. So yeah, I'm gonna agree, man. 3.5.
Bad.
All right, man. Let's get into the coming soon.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right. So the next episode we got, man, is season 4 of True Detective. We are covering season 4 of True Detective. Um, yeah. So I don't know too much. I don't want to say anything because I might say something and I might end up messing everything up because I might be wrong and I might end up finding some shit out that I'm not supposed to find out. So just know the next episode is season 4 of True Detective. So uh, I know there's a lot of True Detective fans out there. Buckle up, get ready. This will be my first season that I watched, but so far so good. So I'm gonna go back and start at season 1. Um, like I said, my mom was watching it, and I seen some familiar faces in the first seasons.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and check it out because they had some stars in that bad boy. So yeah, but this one has been good. I'm only at episode 3 right now. So um yeah, next episode, y'all get ready. Thank you guys for listening. You know what I'm saying? If you agree with what Yolanda had to say, which probably nobody's going to agree with that. Or if you disagree with it, which probably everybody is, or if you two think that Abraham is a sneaky son of a bitch, hit us up. Let us know on our socials, Twitter and Instagram at ViewAnonPod. You can follow us on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group. You can also hit us up in the comments on our YouTube channels or YouTube channel. I'm sorry. And also, do not forget, we have a link in the description where you can sign up for our paid episodes, $2.99 a month. It'll get you all the access behind the scenes that you're looking for. Um, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can follow me on Twitter at Scoots Bronson. I have a link tree in my bio. You can follow me everywhere else there.
And y'all can find me at s.foster8 on Instagram and on X, at 28 minutes or less pod. That is just on IG. And also at 28 minutes or less pod, go check out the TikTok page. Videos are getting big numbers over there, so I appreciate the support. Also follow the podcast 28 Minutes or Less. It's on all major platforms. Last episode is 147. Respect the Cox. Well, excuse me, respect the Lady Cox. While I went in on the women's basketball, man, and events that transpired a couple weekends ago. So go check that out on all major platforms.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Once again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. Without you, there could be no us. But until the next time, like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.